Hello students, we are going to start with next part of this chapter, respiration and circulation. Heart. It is the main pumping organ of circulatory system. It is reddish brown in color, hollow and muscular organ. Approximately its size is at one's fist, so which is considered as normal. Its average weight is about 300 gram in males and 250 grams in females, which is a little bit low than male. It is conical in shape and lies in mediastinum, that is the space between two lungs. So mediastinum, that is the space between two lungs, and that's why this triangular shape heart which is kept over there. It is broader at upper, that is, and the base, and the conical at the lower end, that is apex. So broader at the base and conical at the apex. Conical end is slightly tilted to the left side and rests above the diaphragm. So that's why we can say it is little bit turned to the left side. So heart is enclosed in a membranous sac which is called pericardium, which is actually holding a heart at its position. It is formed by two main layers, outer fibrous and inner serous pericardium. Serous pericardium is soft, moist, elastic and is formed of squamous epithelium and further divided into two layers, that is parietal and visceral layer. So you can check here in the diagram where the pericardium, which is made up of outer one and the inner one. Parietal and the visceral layer of serous pericardium are separated by a pericardial space, and this space is filled with pericardial fluid, which is about 50 ml, and act as a shock absorber and protects the heart from the mechanical injuries. So it also keeps the heart moist and act as a lubricant. That means it is the prevention of the injuries by absorbing shock. So that's why it is gets filled with a kind of pericardial fluid, and which is also act as a lubricant. That means for some kind of movement which actually happens in our body, that's why heart can be moved from its place. So this act as a little bit lubricant. Heart wall. It is mesodermal in origin and form of three layers: outer epicardium, middle myocardium, inner endocardium. Epicardium is a thin form of a single layer of flat squamous epithelium and resting on the basement membrane. Myocardium is the middle thick layer form of cardiac muscles. Endocardium is a single thin layer form of squamous epithelium. So, except middle one, that is myocardium, endocardium, epicardium are made up of squamous epithelium, and the actual pumping action which is carried out in the heart, which is by the muscles that are termed as cardiac muscles. Whereas myocardium is responsible for the contraction and relaxation of heart, they are actually responsible for the pumping movement of heart. External structure of heart. Human heart is four chambered, two superior chambers which are called atria, two inferior, two which are termed as ventricles. So left common carotid artery, that is the left artery, we can say aorta, from which it arises. Pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, these are the two which are related to the lungs. And systemic aorta, which is actually responsible for the conduction of blood from heart to the body. Internally, the arteries are separated from the ventricles by transverse groove. A kind of groove means an edge, we can say, which is called coronary sulcus or arterioventricular groove. The two main ventricles are extremely externally separated from each other by two grooves. The anterior and the posterior interventricular sulci. Sulci means a kind of downward depressions. So coronary arteries and coronary veins run through these sulci. Pulmonary trunk, that means pulmonary artery, which arising from the right ventricle, and aorta from the left ventricle, are present on the anterior surface of the heart. That means from the little bit front side. Pulmonary trunk bifurcates, means divided into right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery, that's just to enter in the right and lungs respectively. Aorta, that is systemic aorta, is divisible into three regions as ascending aorta and descending, that is a systemic ascending aorta and descending aorta, and the systemic arc or aortic arc. That all you can check in the diagram in your book. So in the ventral view, the ligamentum arteriosum that joins pulmonary trunk and aortic arc, here a a kind of layer which actually tie between them. It is a remnant of embryonic duct which is called the ductus arteriosus. That's embryonic duct means when a child or a baby in his fetus form in the mother's womb, that time it was there. So aortic arc, which gives out three arteries: brachiocephalic, that is innominate artery, left common carotid, and left subclavian. Right atrium receives superior and inferior vena cava along its dorsal surface, from which it receives deoxygenated blood from the body. Pulmonary veins opens into the left atrium along the dorsal surface of the heart. So the dorsal surface, that means a little bit from the back side of the heart. Internal surface of heart. Internal structure of heart, that is arteria. These are the thin walled receiving chambers of heart. They are separated from each other by interauricular septum, means interarterial septum. Two arteria are there, right atrium, left atrium. Superior vena cava, that is precaval, inferior vena cava, that is postcaval, and the coronary sinus, that opening into the atrium. So right atrium, which receives blood from these three. Opening of the postcaval, that means inferior vena cava, which is coming from the down parts which are down to the heart in our body, so which collects blood from the down parts of the body, and superior vena cava, which collects the upper part of the body than the heart. So four pulmonary veins opens into the left atrium, and these openings are without valves. They don't need any valves because they don't have any pressure, and that's why there is no backflow. Both the artery opens into the ventricles of their respective sides by arterioventricular apertures. Apertures means small holes which are respectively, that is right atrium opens into the right ventricle, left atrium opens into the left ventricle. These openings are guarded by cuspid valves, so which are according to the flaps. That valves are termed as bicuspid or tricuspid valves. Tricuspid valve is present in the right arterioventricular aperture, and bicuspid valve, that is mitral valve also it is termed, which is present in the left arterioventricular aperture. All these heart valves help in maintaining the unidirectional flow of blood and avoid backflow of blood. That means when blood enters in the ventricles, if blood tries to goes back to the atrium, these flaps joins to each other and close the way to the atrium, reverse way to the atrium. Ventricles. Right ventricles, left ventricles. These are inferior, thick-walled pumping chambers of the heart, and these are responsible for the pumping action of the heart, where they actually releases blood from the heart. The right and left ventricles are separated by an interventricular septum. Wall of the left ventricle is more muscular and about 3 times thicker than the right ventricle, because it have to pump blood outside the heart. That's why it is thicker to produce pressure on the blood. The lumen of ventricles also shows, lumens means a cavity of the ventricles, also shows inelastic fiber which is called the chordae tendineae, and these attach the bicuspid valve and tricuspid valves to the ventricular valve that are termed as papillary muscles and regulate their opening and closing. So these ventricles, lumen of the ventricles, are actually related to the papillary muscles which are actually holding the opening of the bicuspid and tricuspid valves and regulate it. The right ventricles open into the pulmonary aorta and left ventricles open into the aorta, that is systemic aorta. These openings are guarded by the 3 similar valves each. These valves prevent the backflow of blood into the ventricles. Now, pumping action of the heart. Heart acts as the main pumping organ of the circulatory system. The pumping action is brought about by the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the cardiac muscles of the heart muscles. Contraction where they get contract, and when that contraction goes off, they relax. So contraction of heart muscles is systole and relaxation of heart muscles is diastole. So a single systole means at the one contraction of both the atriums, that follows by the diastole which makes one heartbeat. So heartbeats, that is 70 to 72 per minute, which is called heart rate. During each heartbeat, ventricles pump about 70 ml of blood, and this is called the stroke volume. That means the maximum volume of the blood which can be coming out or which can be distributed by the heart. It means heart pumps about 72 times into 70 ml, that is per heart, that is stroke volume, which equalizes to the 5040, that is 5040 ml, means approximately 5 liter of the blood per minute. This is called cardiac output. Conducting tissue of heart. The human heart is myogenic, that is the heart is capable of generating of cardiac contraction independent of nervous input. That means it's not depend on our will. It is a kind of regulatory system of the heart its own. That means involuntary movements. It also shows autorhythmicity. That means it can generate its own rhythm by specialized muscles. And these specialized muscles are termed as cardiac muscle, which are by the nodal tissues which are distributed in the heart. So cardiac muscles which are in the myocardium origin. A part of this nodal tissue is present in the upper right corner of the heart at the right atrium, which is termed as SA node or sinoarterial node, because it is located in the atrium. So it lies at the base of the opening of the superior vena cava. Another mass of nodal tissue which is modified muscular fiber, also called autorhythmic fibers or the conducting tissues, which control the beating of heart of rate of heart or heartbeat we can say. The conducting, that is nodal tissues, consist of SA node, sinoarterial node, AV node, arterioventricular node, bundle of His, which actually passes stimulation from AC node to AV node and to the ventricle, and then Purkinje fibers, which is actually responsible for the contraction of ventricles. Conducting system of the heart. AC node, sinoatrial node. It is present in the right atrium. You can check in the diagram simultaneously. It acts as a pacemaker. Pacemaker means it's generating the stimulus. Because of it has the power of generating a new wave of contraction and making the pace of contraction. AV node, that is atrioventricular node. AC node passes the contraction to the left ventricle and also to the AV node. So AV node, this atrioventricular node, is present in the right arterial wall near the base of interarterial septum, and it acts as a pace setter of the heart. Pace setter, that means it receives and just spread it to the bundle of His. Bundle of His or Tawara branches that starts from AV node and pass through the interventricular septum. So the whole walls of the heart can, whole walls of the ventricles can contract at a time. Bundle of His forms two branches, right and left bundles, one for each ventricles. Purkinje fibers, that is, these branches forms a network in ventricular walls, and these are called Purkinje fibers. So bundle of His and Purkinje fibers spread impulses in ventricles. As a result, both the ventricles contract simultaneously at the same time. Now, working mechanism of heart. Cardiac cycle. Human heart alternately contracts and relaxes. So alternatively, this contraction and relaxation responsible for the systole and diastole. When heart is contract, it is termed as systole, and when heart is relaxed, it is termed as diastole. Arteria and ventricles contracts alternately, that's why they are separated, and systole is at the simultaneously whole heart gets relaxed, that's why it is termed as joint diastole. Consecutive systole and diastole constitutes a single heartbeat of cardiac cycle completed within 0.8 second. On an average, 72 beats are completed in 1 minute in an adult at rest. Arterial systole. Right atrium receives deoxygenated blood and left atrium receives oxygenated blood. When both the arteria are completely filled with blood, pressure is exerted on the wall, and in response to this pressure, AC node gets excited and generates cardiac impulse. Due to these impulses, cardiac muscles in the arterial wall contract and causing arterial systole, because of which the blood is pumped from atrium to the ventricles. So during arterial systole, blood is pumped into the respective ventricles. Blood is prevented from the going back to the veins and coronary sinus by the Eustachian and the Thebetian valves respectively. After completing systole, the arteria undergoes into diastole. In normal conditions, the arterial systole is 4.1 second and arterial diastole is 4.7 second. Ventricular systole. The impulse which started from SA node now reaches the AV node and it gets excited. So AV node sends impulses to bundle of His, from bundle of His to the Purkinje fibers. Purkinje fibers spreads impulses over the wall of ventricles, which is again responsible for the contraction of the ventricles. So due to this, the ventricular walls contracts and causes ventricular systole. During ventricular systole, right ventricle pumps deoxygenated blood into the pulmonary trunk and left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood into the aorta. So during ventricular systole, the cuspid valves, that both bicuspid and tricuspid valves, closed both atrioventricular apertures, that preventing blood backflow into the arteria. So lub sound is heard, that we can say. So in normal conditions, the ventricular systole lasts for 0.3 seconds and ventricular diastole, that is last for 0.5 seconds. So during ventricular diastole, semilunar valves are closed, prevents the backflow of the blood from pulmonary trunk and systemic aorta into the ventricles again. So dub sound is heard. That's why jointly it can be heard as lub dub, lub dub. Joint diastole for about 0.4 second, which lasts for 0.4 second. Both artery and ventricles are in diastole. So when all the chambers of heart are in diastole, this condition is called joint diastole or complete diastole. Thus, the duration of one cardiac cycle is 0.8 second. Right side of the heart contains deoxygenated and left contains the oxygenated blood. Total volume of the blood pumped during one ventricular systole is called stroke volume and is approximately 70 ml. Cardiac output. It is the volume of blood pumped out per minute. For normal adult human being, it is calculated as follows. So cardiac output is SV, that is systole, and HR, that is heart rate. So 70 into 72, that is 5 liters approximately. Blood vessels. There are three main types of blood vessels in the human circulatory system, that are arteries and veins. That we are going to study in the next lecture. Thank you.